All right. So what if we had cosecant times cosine of x, cosine of x equals cotangent of x? How do we get there?
Sines over and cosines.
Turn them into sines and cosines. So 1 over sine of x times cosine of x equals cotangent of x. So cosine of x over sine of x equals cotangent of x. And what's cosine over sine?
Cotangent.
Ta-da. Okay. So something like that should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So what if we had like 1 over 1 minus cosine of x equals 1 plus cosine of x over sine squared of x? What's our magic word for this one?
Conjugate.
There you go, Cadence.
I'm so smart today.
Because if we have a subtraction in the denominator of this and addition in the numerator of this without any other addition or subtraction anywhere, multiply by conjugate. Okay? So 1 over 1 minus cosine of x times 1 plus cosine of x on the top and bottom. So if we FOIL the denominator,
They cancel.
is 1 minus cosine squared of x.
Are you recording this?
Yep. And 1 minus cosine squared is?
Sine squared. What do we got? Everyone can participate. Okay. I just go this way.
Ooh.
In my head.
Say it out loud, Kendra.
No, I said it in head.
Because you don't know the answer.
Yes, I do.
Let's do one more, and then we'll move on to the factoring and those types of problems.
My hands are sweaty. They're really hot.
It's really humid in this.
Yeah, I think. I got my next one.
Okay. We can turn them into sines and cosines, but I think I want to get a common denominator first.
Oh, yeah.
What's my common denominator? Secant of x plus 1 times secant of x minus 1. So I have to multiply the top and bottom of the first one by secant of x minus 1. Top and bottom of the second one by secant of x plus 1. So you get secant of x minus 1 over secant squared of x minus 1 minus secant of x plus 1 over secant squared of x minus 1. I think this is a negative cotangent, negative 2 cotangent squared of x, now that I think about it. So, what is secant of x minus secant of x? 0. What's negative 1 minus 1? Negative 2 over secant squared of x minus 1. What's secant squared of x minus 1 equal to?
Cotangent squared of x.
No, it isn't. Secant squared of x minus 1 is? tangent squared of x. So tangent squared on the bottom is the same as cotangent squared up top. Okay, so those might be some that you'll see. I mean, you'll get more practice on by Tuesday, between now and Tuesday, you should get a lot of practice on these any identities because your identity packet is due on Tuesday at the end of class. Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be gone. Two tests. What are you talking about?
Algebra.
We have an algebra test on Thursday. Today is our last lesson for algebra. Thank God.
But it never ended.
I hate story problems. That's what we're learning today. Yeah. I'm so bad at story. Nothing. I didn't do anything yesterday.
2 cosine squared of x minus 7 cosine of x minus 5.
AC method.
AC method. So you get negative 10. Ooh, Mr. Bierschbach made a mistake. So let's go plus there. Negative 10 cosine squared of x. Okay? What are factors of negative 10?
2 and 5.
1 and 10. 2 and 5. Did I screw that up? Yeah, I screwed this whole problem up. 9 plus 9. There we go. Okay, that's what it should have been. So what adds up to positive 9?
1 and 10.
Negative 1, positive 10. So you rewrite this as 2 cosine, not cosine squared, but 2 cosine of x minus 1 and 2 cosine of x plus 10. Divide by the greatest common factor. Well, there's 1 there and 2 is there. So it's 2 cosine of x minus 1 and cosine of x plus 5. Okay. Difference of squares. There we go. So it's 2 sets of parentheses. What's the square root of 6 tangent square root of x?
What?
What's the square root of 36 tangent square root of x? 6 tangent of x. Signs are opposite. And then it's 5 cosine of x. Okay, we're good there. So yeah, you'll have other factoring to do, but I'm just giving you a little overview. Then if we have 3 cosine of x minus 2 quantity squared, what do? Write it twice and FOIL. So it's 9 cosine square root of x. Outers is minus 6 cosine of x. Inners is minus 6 cosine of x. Last is plus 4. So it's 9 cosine square root of x minus 12 cosine of x plus 4. Let's look at the sum and difference formulas. If we have the cosine of 75 degrees, how do we do that? That's cosine of 30 plus 45. So it's a cosine of 30, cosine of 45, minus sine of 30 sine of 45. So it's square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2, square root of 2 over 2. So it's the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 all over 4. Yeah, I think you guys can just use your formulas for that. Do you want any others? Because we just went over half angles and double angles. Should we do a tangent one quick?
Tangent on what?
Of addition or subtraction. So let's go the tangent of 165. So that's the tangent of what plus what, like 120 plus 45, which is the tangent of 120 plus the tangent of 45 over 1 minus the tangent of 120 tangent of 45. What's the tangent of 120? Isn't it negative square root of 3?
Yeah.
So this is minus a negative or a positive in the denominator then. So you multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. So in the numerator you get negative square root of 3 plus 3 plus 1 minus the square root of 3, first, outer, inner, last. Denominator, first is 1, outers, inners cancel, last is negative 3. So you get negative 2 square root of 3 plus 4 over negative 2, which is the square root of 3 minus 2. Okay? All right, that's the basics. I'll give you the review sheet. We'll go over the review sheet on Thursday before we take the test. Okay, so you'll have all of class on Tuesday to do your packet. Okay, got it? Good.